Section 1.6 Interactive Assignment Objective 1. To determine if topiramate is an effective treatment for alcohol dependence, researchers conducted a 14-week trial of 371 men and women aged 18 to 65 years diagnosed with alcohol dependence. In this double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled experiment, subjects were randomly given either 300 milligrams of topiramate or a placebo. Now, the topiramate had 183 subjects, placebo had 188 subjects daily, along with a weekly compliance enhancement intervention. The variable used to determine the effectiveness of the treatment was self-reported percentage of heavy drinking days. Results indicated that topiramate was more effective than placebo at reducing the percentage of heavy drinking days. The researchers concluded that topiramate is a promising treatment for alcohol dependence, and we're going to complete parts A through F. First question is, what does it mean for the experiment to be placebo-controlled? So let's take a look at the definition of a placebo-controlled. Now, a placebo is an innocuous medication such as a sugar tablet that looks, tastes, and smells like the experimental medication. In some experiments, such as when the effectiveness of a medication is being studied, a placebo treatment or medication is given to the subjects in the control group. Using a placebo treatment enables blinding to be used. Okay, now the answer is going to be C, because the experiment will have a control group that takes a placebo, which is an innocuous medication such as a sugar tablet. This control group serves as a baseline treatment that can be used to compare to the group that is actually taking the medication. So therefore, the answer again is, in this case, C for this one. Next question. What does it mean for the experiment to be double-blind? Why do you think it is necessary for the experiment to be double-blind? First, we're going to explain what it means for the experiment to be double-blind. So, let's take a look at the definition for that. Okay, so in a double-blind experiment, neither the subject nor the researcher in contact with the subject knows which treatment is received. When the researcher also does not know which treatment is received, it helps ensure that they observe each group the same way. So therefore, B, in this case, neither the subject nor the researcher knows which treatment the subject is receiving. So in this case here, again, neither the subject nor the researcher knows which treatment the subject is receiving. Okay, the next question says, why do you think it is necessary for the experiment to be double-blind? Well, the experiment is double-blind so that the subjects receiving the medication do not behave differently, and so the individual monitoring the subject does not treat those receiving medication differently from those receiving the placebo. So therefore, that would be the answer for that. So in this one, that would be the same here. The experiment is double-blind, so the subjects receiving the medication do not behave differently, and so the individual monitoring the subjects does not treat those receiving medication differently from those receiving a placebo. Part C, it says, what does it mean for the experiment to be randomized? Okay, let's take a look here. So what does it mean? Well, randomized design means that each subject is randomly assigned to a treatment. So therefore, here it says that it means that the subjects are randomly assigned to take either topiramate or the placebo. So therefore, it means the subjects are randomly assigned to take either the topiramate or the placebo. Part D, what is the population for which this study applies, and what is the sample? Okay, well, let's go over the definition. Well, the entire group to be studied is called the population. An individual is a person or object that is a member of the population being studied. A sample is a subset of the population that is being studied. So we would say that the population is all 18 to 65-year-olds with alcohol dependence. The sample is 371 men and women aged 18 to 65 years diagnosed with alcohol dependence. So therefore, again, the population is all 18 to 65-year-olds with alcohol dependence, and the sample is 371 men and women aged 18 to 65 years diagnosed with alcohol dependence. Okay, let's take a look at E. What are the treatments? Well, an experiment is a control study conducted to determine the effect varying one or more explanatory variables or factors has on a response variable. So any combination of values of the factors is called a treatment. So in this case, 300 milligrams of topiramate or a placebo daily and a weekly compliance enhancement intervention would be the treatment. So therefore, again, 300 milligrams of topiramate, the placebo daily, and a weekly compliance enhancement intervention. Okay, last question. What is the response variable? Okay, now in an experiment, the goal is to determine how varying the amount of an explanatory variable affects the value of a response variable. The response variable is the outcome of a study, which is a variable you are trying to predict. In this case here is the percentage of heavy drinking days. So therefore that represents the response variable. So therefore we would say that the percentage of heavy drinking days is the response variable.